The sports scene here in Pittsburgh. They will look to clinch a playoff spot tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. It's the Pens and the Sabres, and it begins right now on Root Sports.
It has been 25 years since the Pittsburgh Penguins had to win the last game of the regular season to get into the Stanley Cup playoffs. They control their destiny tonight. A win, and they're in against the team that is already locked up last place in the National Hockey League standings, the Buffalo Sabres. And speaking of standings, this is what it's going to take for the Pittsburgh Penguins. If they win, they will qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs for the 9th consecutive year. If they do not, they will need a loss by the Boston Bruins to Tampa Bay in Tampa tonight to get into the playoffs. Hi, everybody. Paul Steigerwald along with Bob Airey. And Bob, if you look at this last stretch where the Penguins have won only 3 of their last 10, 2 guys who have certainly played at a very high level are Sidney Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, and Sidney Crosby, you know, nothing good comes easy. Sidney Crosby has worked hard for everything he's got this season atop the NHL scoring race. He's amongst 5 guys that can win the Art Ross. Last night, that kind of moving in and out against Tyler Kennedy has set up Rob Scuderi's first goal in a couple of years. That's the kind of stuff that all the Penguins have to do. He is leading by example right now. Marc-Andre Fleury has been good all season long. His back-to-back numbers have not been that impressive. He'll have to put last night aside, focus in on this game tonight, and he needs a lot of help from the players in front of him.
I remember the doctor, Paul Coffey, used to say, if you're going to be successful, the checkers have to check and the scorers have to score.
Yes, and some guys that haven't been scoring are Evgeny Malkin, who hasn't scored in 9 games that he's played. Add the 8 that he has been out with injuries, 17 games without a goal from that guy. Chris Kunitz, he's getting in on the forecheck. He's showing speed on the wings. You just hope that somehow he can find a goal against Lindback tonight. And David Perron, a guy that was on fire when he came over, has just gone dry, Staggy. 12 goals in over 30 games in his Penguins career.
Well, at times like this, when you want to get a feel for what is happening in that locker room, you talk to the captain. And that's exactly what Dan Potash will do. It's the Penguins and the Sabres. Welcome back to Buffalo. Just a little while ago, Dan Potash caught up with Sidney Crosby to get his temperature before the game.
I think it's fair to say that you guys actually control your own future. With that being said, what's the mindset for you and your teammates over the next 60 minutes?
Just to be at our best. I think we trust that we'll get the result we want, but need to put a full game together. We did a lot of good things last night, so just try to continue that and make sure that we leave it all out there. There's nothing to save it for here.
A lot of those good things actually came on offense last night, and you said after the game that if we continue to do that, eventually we can trust that the puck will find the back of the net. That hold true again tonight?
Yeah, exactly. You know, like you said, we generated a lot of chances and really got to our game. Our forecheck was good. Defensively, we were pretty solid. We made a few mistakes that ended up in our net, so just make sure we correct those. Don't give them a lot there, and the offense will take care of itself.
Sidney, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, the captain, has spoken. You're up.
The Penguins will try to punch their ticket to the postseason next.
You've been struggling to make things right. That's how a superhero learns to fly.
Hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. You're better with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Rated #1 for plan satisfaction. By Western PA Toyota Dealers. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. It took a grueling 81 games to get to this point. There have been many ups and downs in this marathon that is the NHL regular season. Now, it comes down to this game, this one game. Win and you're in. It is the Penguins Game 7. Win and you're in.
We're the champions.
So it is Fan Appreciation Night here in Buffalo, as it was last night in Pittsburgh. The final game in an interesting setting when you consider the fact that for once the Sabres fans can actually cheer for a win. They've been cheering for losses all year, so the Sabres would finish last. That creates a whole different dynamic as we go into this game here tonight for the Penguins.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's go to our Rivers Casino tips to win right away, Bob.
Well, right away, the Penguins are going to need some puck luck for and against. How many times can they whack it into the pads of the netminder? Relax a little bit. Gino's saying it. He said it before. And play with pride. Be able to look in that mirror after the hockey game. Just give it your best and be proud in front of that guy. Marc-Andre Fleury's had one of those fantastic seasons, Staggy, and none bigger game than tonight.
And this guy here is winless against the Penguins, 0-2-1 in his career with a 4.71 goals against average. Anders Lindback, who played last night in Columbus in a 4-2 loss. And Mike Johnston, hoping the Penguins have more goals in them this season so they can put the Sabres away and gain a playoff berth. And Ted Nolan, gone through a very, very difficult year to say the least. 23 wins, 50 losses, 54 points, the lowest total in the NHL. And they look forward to next year when they might have Connor McDavid in the lineup. And right now, though, the Penguins have to take care of business. And from the opening draw, it is Ben Lovejoy paired up with Paul Martin. He wraps it up the wall to center ice where Daniel Winnick is out here with Sidney Crosby and Patrick Hornquist. Steers it into the zone. The Sabres can't get it out. Winnick overskates. And the Sabres quickly go the other way. And the puck is dumped in by Johan Larsson to the corner. Larsson went down. Tyler Ennis works out of the corner with it. The diminutive player for the Sabres is very dangerous. Their leading scorer. He checks in with 46 points, and the Penguins trying to get to the goal. And
maybe that's
the net
an
is
omen.
dislodged.
That's an omen. Something got by the netminder and in the cage, and it was Sidney Crosby. As the Penguins had a 3-on-2 trying to hit Crosby through the seam. Crosby trying to get through a couple of long sticks there. Unable to do that. Looks for a penalty over his left shoulder. He's not going to get the call against the Buffalo Sabres, who tripped them up.
Referees tonight are Jean Hebert and Ian Walsh. Brad Kovacic and Scott Cherry are the linesmen. Here's Kunitz. He's got a lane down the middle. Shooting. Glove save made. Rebound. Penguins trying to get it back to the goal on the backhand. David Perron missed the net. And Perron after the puck again on the near wall. And here's Malkin into the slot. Kunitz hammers one wide of the goal. Malkin trying to stuff it in. He can't do so. And boy, Anders Lindback already under siege here as the Penguins are starting off the way they have recently, Bob, getting to the offensive zone and peppering the goal.
Hey, you got to keep shooting, and Herb Lindback's going to bobble the puck as he did. As you look at Winnick on the top line, Malkin, Perron, and Kunitz. And the 5 defensemen down below. You have 13 forwards and 5D for Mike Johnson here in this hockey game. And Lindback's a guy that they've gotten to in the past. He's a guy that's glove is not really that solid. He's 6'6". That's what he's got going for him. And he's playing for a new contract here. You know, Buffalo Sabres here, everybody here says goaltending's the least of their worries.
They allow 35 shots a game. That's the most in the NHL. This is Brandon Sutter with the man driving to the net. Sutter hangs on to the puck, goes across the ice, and it'll be steered to the corner by Taylor Chorney. And now in behind the net for Steve Downey, looking around for the puck. Sutter as well. And they push it past Sutter and come to center. Zach Dalpe plays the puck on the right wing and dumps it into the Penguin zone. Nick Delorier in after number 44, but the Penguins able to keep him from getting there. And now the lead pass goes awry, and that is an icing against Pittsburgh. We invite you to tweet the booth, Root Sports Pit, using the hashtag PensBooth. You can send your comments and questions. Use the hashtag PensBooth, brought to you by Point Park University.
Well, the Ottawa Senators got in to the playoffs officially with a win this afternoon. Staggy, the Ottawa Senators have punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Penguins looking to do the same here tonight.
Top line for the Sabres is on against the third line of the Penguins. Brandon Sutter on that icing call, trying to get it out. Actually, Hornquist is on the ice. Sutter took the draw. Hornquist in on the forecheck now as Bennett and Sutter go back to the bench. And Crosby comes on here to join Patrick Hornquist. Crosby pressuring Zach Bogosian, the former Winnipeg Jet, who came over with Evander Kane in that deal that sent Tyler Myers and Drew Stafford, among others, to the Winnipeg Jets, who are also in the Stanley Cup playoffs under Paul Maurice. Back to get the puck in his own zone is Ben Lovejoy. Bumped by Larson. He sends it up the right wing. And Daniel Winnick has it there for Pittsburgh. Into the middle now for Crosby. Looked like he wanted to run the gauntlet again, but Bogosian keeps him to the outside.
Bogosian had the stick between Crosby's legs. If Crosby had crossed over, he would have been tripped up. Back Bogosian, you just mentioned the deal.
Now Lovejoy moves up. Slap shot. Lindback the save, but he's able to juggle the puck and hang on to it with the glove. Lindback, a big, rangy goalie. It's 6'6", 215.
And there's Sidney Crosby tied at top to top with John Tavares, who scored against the Penguins last night. Jamie Benn, Voracek, and Ovechkin, who scored today, this afternoon in a game. Both these teams, the Sabres and the Penguins, playing last night. There was only 2 games in the National Hockey League. It'll all finish up here tonight.
All 30 teams in action today. Here's David Perron behind the goal. Perron gets free, shoots the puck, and the save made by Lindback. The puck's loose in the crease. Malkin there digging for it, and Lindback able to freeze. Boy, the Penguins are getting good looks at the net again here.
Well, Perron was able to come out from behind the goal line and appropriately just kept going with it because all the Sabres collapsed in front of the net on Malkin and Kunitz. Take a look. All the defense collapsing in on Kunitz is just on the other side in the blue paint. Nobody took Perron. Keep taking it. Shot it off the left shoulder of the 6'6" netminder. There he is doing the Snow Angels. And he's a big netminder. A lot of times it's that second crack that you're going to score on. The Penguins have to keep active in that paint.
Well, false draw. They'll drop it again to the right of Lindback.
And maybe look for the east to west play too. The backdoor play. Lindback, you can see how far out he was challenging on Perron there.
Zach Dalpe takes the face off Malkin, wins it against him. Scuderi on the left wing now for Kunitz, the shot off a stick. Sabres able to work it out as Ristolainen got it ahead. Now Delorier with a heavy slap shot right to the logo of Marc-Andre Fleury, and he hangs on. Fleury has great records numbers against the Sabres. 12 wins, 2 losses, 1.72 goals against average. A .937 save percentage and 3 shutouts for Fleury against the Sabres.
And you love that. A long shot if you're Marc-Andre Fleury. Put it right in my chest protector. Let me feel the rubber a little bit here. Let me feel good about myself. Get into this game. You don't want too many shots. You'll take the long ones. No second opportunities. The Penguins got to look around. 4 sticks.
Penguins' 4th line on now. Spalling, Como on either side of Max Lapierre. Matt Ellis, Cody Hodgson out here along with Patrick Coletta for the Buffalo Sabres. Como trying to get the puck out. It's it ahead now for Spalling. They kicked it along for Lapierre. He looks for the puck, but the Sabres find it. Chad Ruhwedel with it now. Defenseman sends it ahead where it's steered in by Coletta to the Penguin zone. Back to get it is Lovejoy. Sends it hard up the right wing wall. Como couldn't take it there. Back to the net. The save made by Fleury. And with the rebound is Chorney up the right wing now to Como. Spalling tried to get to it.
Couple
Fourth
plays
line
there.
of the Penguins unable to get to center and get the puck into the offensive zone.
A couple plays out there for Como on that right wing, and one was hard. The second one, he's got to make that play and get the puck to the red line and out, either with a pass or with his legs.
So now the Penguins get it moving. Sutter moves it to the right wing. Bennett tried to get it to the net, and it goes in behind the goal. 3 righties on this 3rd line for the Penguins: Downey, Bennett, and Sutter. Bennett plays the off wing. Also with a shot, high and wide, a heavy one there off the glass. Now in behind the net. Good work by Ian Cole to pin a man. Molson against the wall so the Penguins could bring the puck out. Now an errant pass, and Paul Martin will go back for it for Pittsburgh.
This is a line you got to stop, this Ennis-Molson line. Ennis got 20 goals. Molson's on fire right now. And the Sutter unit is in charge, as well as Martin on the backside, Staggy.
Now Fleury sets it up behind the goal. Paul Martin looks up, banks it ahead for Hornquist, who steers it in. Daniel Winnick, the first man in on the forecheck, but Lindback works it to the far side, and the Sabres quickly exit the zone. And this is Grigorenko, big tall Russian player, pulls up, backhands it back in behind the net, over to the far corner, taken there by Brian Gionta. Out of the side of the net, Grigorenko, or make that the Foligno trying to stuff one in on Fleury. He was ready for that as Marcus Foligno wheeled it around the cage. Now Crosby goes ahead with Hornquist down the wing. Try to go back to Sid rather than shoot it. And we get a little bit of a track meet going here now as Foligno shoots it long on Fleury. And both teams are changing as Lovejoy moves it along for Cole. Out in center where Kunitz steers it into the Sabres zone. Andre Mazzaros with Rasmus Ristolainen defensively. A lot of young defensemen on this Sabres team who are only going to get better as they get more good players in their lineup next year and after that.
Well, that's the key. You got to be able to coach them. You got to be able to play them with some good people. Tyler Myers never seemed to grow here in Buffalo, and he was moved on.
He's played really well with Winnipeg too. Here's Dalpe down the wing, shooting, and Fleury made the save. The Sabres are getting shots. There's another one from Mazzaros, stopped by Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury sharp. Dalpe in front of the net. And Kunitz right there to clear it back to center ice. Suddenly the Buffalo Sabres have more shots than the Penguins. They've got 5-4 for the Pens. And it was 4-0 at one point.
And it's going to be one of those games going to come right down to the wire. You got that feeling. With the Penguins so tight, unless they can get a couple going here and get Buffalo thinking about the golf clubs.
Spalling able to just clear it, but it'll be an icing against Pittsburgh. Here's a look at our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update, Bob.
Well, 343 man games lost. When Pouliot went down, the Penguins had to go to 5 defensemen. Chris Letang, that was a big hit. The concussion suffered the hands of Shane Doan on that shove to the back wall. Ehrhoff is getting close. Mata gone for the season, and Pascal Dupuis actually skating this morning in Buffalo.
Molson, Ennis, and Larson on the ice again for Buffalo. For Pittsburgh, it's the 4th line of Lapierre, Como, and Spalling. And Lapierre dumps the puck into the Sabres zone. The Sabres, Tyler Ennis dished it off. Chad Ruhwedel steps up, and he backhands it into the Penguin zone. Fleury decides to play it back to the corner. Lovejoy couldn't find it there. Molson tried to get it back to the net. Scuderi cleared it, but right in the slot. Slap shot by Bogosian. Misses the cage.
Now you turn the puck up in the middle of your zone, in your own end, it can come back to haunt you. The Penguins have seen that before. Right there, the turnover in your own zone. It's okay if you turn it over 200 feet away.
Bogosian can skate, and he just did that coming to center ice. Right wing Tyler Ennis tried to get it to the net. Paul Martin took it away. Back to the corner now for Grigorenko. Sends it back in around for Ennis. He can't play it. Penguins want to get it out here. The Sabres gaining a little bit of momentum in this game all of a sudden. Getting pucks to the net. But the Penguins trying to get it going offensively here. And Bo Bennett inside the line. Bo Bennett to the right wing for Steve Downey. Sutter goes to the front of the net. Downey's shot is gloved by the goaltender. We'll be back to Buffalo. 6 shots for the Sabres and 4 for the Penguins.
Still scoreless here in Buffalo, and with their loss Friday night, the Sabres have locked up the worst record in the NHL and will have a 20% chance of winning the draft lottery later this summer. Now, Buffalo had the best odds last year, but the Florida Panthers won the lottery even though they had the second worst record. So who knows? Will the Sabres be worst and first this time around? As Staggy and Bobby, you guys both mentioned, there's a couple of good guys available in this year's draft, I understand.
Yes, but the interesting thing for the Sabres is that now they have a 20% chance. Previously, the team that finished last had a 25% chance at that first pick. Loose around the net, Winnick poking away at it. Finally, Lindback able to freeze. These are the 2 players who are the prime prospects that will be taken first and second overall.
We had Connor McDavid with that 5-point game or 5-goal game just last night. And Hobey Baker, winner. Jack Eichel for Boston University.
Either player would be a welcome addition to the Buffalo Sabres, but you know the guy they really want is a guy who is very much like Sidney Crosby, and that's Connor McDavid. There's a shot by Winnick off the heel of his stick as it was partially blocked, and then Ian Cole hustled over to get it in behind the net. Turning with it is Tyson Strachan along for Zach Bogosian. Now it's Gionta moving into the middle. Ahead to Marcus Foligno. He scored last night right after his brother Nick Foligno scored for Columbus. Things are kind of quiet right now in this building as the Penguins come ahead. David Perron moves it to the right wing to Malkin. And Gino finds Chorney. His shot off the goal post. That's the second post he's hit this week. And now Lovejoy's shot is steered up into the netting. And that's just the way things have been going for the Penguins, who are really having a tough time scoring. No more than 3 goals in their last 14 games.
Yep, Evgeny Malkin stopping up at the blue line. Finds Chorney coming in from that left point position. And just a snapshot to the glove hand of Lindback. Lindback's screened by all the traffic in front with David Perron and the Buffalo Sabre defenseman. And that's the puck luck. The Penguins just aren't getting it right now.
Delarier pokes it into the Penguins zone, but there was some back pressure on him from Kunitz, so he lost control of the puck. And now Philip Verone looks ahead for Zach Dalpe. Chorney reached around him to work it to the far wall, and Malkin just dumps it rink wide. Kunitz trying to keep it going north. And he stops up, looks back, and now decides to dump it in deep. And then after it is Perron. Gets around Mazzaros. David Perron brings it up high and then sends it right back down low. Malkin had vacated that area behind the net. Now he's going to go get the puck. He gets around Verone to get to it. Malkin out to the point. Chorney wanted it again. Slap pass this time and reached the line and able to get his stick in the way of that. Now Malkin behind the goal. Checked by Verone. Malkin moves it up top. Lovejoy with a blast. And again, Lindback with that big body able to make the save.
There's nobody in front of the net there when Lovejoy shot it.
We'd like to welcome Service Electric Cablevision viewers in the Hazleton area. Thanks for watching and rooting on the Pens. All of us at Root Sports and the Penguins appreciate your support.
Malkin doing some good work behind the goal line, but as he moved the puck back to Lovejoy, there was no other forward in front of the net. Malkin tried to get there a little bit late. All the other Penguins are playing the perimeter, and that's not going to cut it.
Here's Como with it. Como to LaPierre. Moves it up high. Penguins cycling. Stalling trying to get to the puck. Reaching around Ruhwedel. He sent it up the wall. Now Cody Hodgson trying to get it out. LaPierre trying to keep it in. But the Sabres do come to center, and Patrick Coletta, a native of this area, dumps it into the zone, and back to get it goes Ian Cole. He's hit by Coletta. And Paul Martin follows on. Moves it along for Cole. Goes past him to Como. He's able to just get it out, and that's it. And the Sabres right back into the Penguin zone, and Hodgson down the wing. Over to play it now is LaPierre, and he's able to come to center with it. Trying to get it ahead. Daniel Winnick on the ice. Couldn't find the puck, and it's taken now by number 51, Nikita Zadorov, who's only 19 years old. Larson moves it to the left side to Molson. He stops up and looks back. And the puck stayed in, and the shot by Strachan stopped by Fleury. The rebound gobbled up by the Sabres. To the right point, Bogosian fanned on it. Winnick tried to settle it down, comes ahead. Bogosian recovered. Crosby can't get around Ennis at center ice. And now Tyson Strachan has it for Buffalo.
Well, Sidney Crosby was lucky Tyler Ennis was there number one and really didn't want to step up on Crosby. He was looking at his feet for a puck going about 100 miles an hour. Very fortunate for Crosby that it wasn't a defenseman Bogosian stepping up.
Icing against the Buffalo Sabres just past the halfway point of the first period. 7 shots apiece and no goals yet.
Take a look at Sidney Crosby. He's had good speed from blue line to blue line. He looks down at his feet, and boy, Tyler Ennis could have lit him up there if he wanted to. He gave him a pass, Staggy, in the last game of the season. And for the Pittsburgh Penguins, maybe that's the break they needed.
You wouldn't have done that.
Scott Stevens wouldn't have done that.
Evgeny Malkin taking the draw.
Hope he wouldn't have done that.
Quick shot by Kunitz off the faceoff, and the blocker save made by Lindback. Kunitz desperately needs a goal. He's got 1 goal. It's his only point in the last 17 games. And Malkin hasn't scored a goal in 9. Now at center ice, it's taken by Chorney, who certainly has a shooter's mentality.
Well, this line together got to dig themselves out of a hole because the man with the puck Perron hasn't had that kind of luck you talked about either. But get the pucks deep or get behind the goal line. Don't turn it over there.
Gionta shot, big rebound. And getting to the rebound was Foligno, but he just couldn't get enough of the puck to get it to the goal.
Well, Perron turned the puck over, Staggy. It's got to go by. There's another turnover for the Penguins in that neutral zone. The pucks have got to go wide when you enter the zone.
Boy, puck management, guys, on the road. You got to get it deep.
The Penguins playing a slower paced game a little bit than they did last night. They played 40 minutes of real hard hockey last night. They ran out of gas at the end of that game in the third period of play. This one's a little more tactical, a little more of a chess match this game. You can sense the importance of the game.
Ristolainen almost lit up Sutter that time, but he stopped, and Sutter saw him coming. Now Sutter after the puck to the corner. Brandon Sutter turns it back the other way for Downey, but now he hangs on to the puck to Lovejoy. The shot, that's blocked in front. It hit Marcus Foligno, and he is gimping back to the bench right now. The Penguins, Brandon Sutter has it in his own zone. 7:57 to go in the first period.
Make sure you keep the changes quick, coming often. You really want to keep your shifts certainly under 40 seconds in this hockey game, the second of the back-to-back. I don't imagine the Penguins slept that well this afternoon. It was a quiet plane ride into Buffalo last night.
And over the line comes LaPierre. He shoots it wide. Spalling driving down the near wall, trying to keep it in. Zadorov sent it up to Dalpe. Scuderi stepped up on him, but Dalpe was able to get it to Ruhwedel and now into the middle. And a quick shot from the left wing by Delorier is stopped by Fleury. Fleury has been sharp here. They've had some good looks at the net. Now it is Veroni with it for the Sabres up the wall. And Scuderi moved it ahead to center, where it's taken by number 51, Nikita Zadorov. Played it with the Erie Otters. Taken now by Hornquist ahead for Crosby. Crosby had it knocked off his stick. Another turnover by the Penguins.
Just for a second there, the Sabres had too many men on the ice, Staggy. The defenseman got messed up as the Sabres turned the puck over in the neutral zone.
Solid check by Coletta at center ice on Daniel Winnick. Lindback moves it up the wall for Ellis. He can't get it out. Crosby trying to keep it in. He does for Lovejoy. A shot. And again, Lindback with the glove. And Winnick was right there next to him. And Lindback gave him a little push. And then the bump by Crosby on the goaltender, Lindback. And they come after Sidney Crosby. Coletta going right after him.
I hope he comes after him. I hope they take a foolish penalty. You got to get into the face of the netminder. When that shot came in, nobody was around Lindback. Winnick got in there late. Then Crosby. This might be what the Penguins need right now. Get this thing going here. Get some energy into get the blood going here. This is a big game, boys. Get into it. That's it. Get on him if he's standing around Big Lindback. Well, you don't necessarily want your captain, Sidney Crosby, in the penalty box, but the puck went to the net. Winnick got there way late. Lindback actually came out with his elbow. Then he walked around like he was the king of the jungle. Sid said, hey, I'm the king here. And he bumped into Lindback. Lindback didn't like it. I like this. This is energy now. Let's see if the Penguins can turn it into something here. You got some open ice. Hey, Crosby's in the box. You still got Malkin. Malkin's got to get it going here. He hasn't scored in 9 games. No better time than on this 4-on-4 right now. Come on, Gino.
Sometimes it's good to get a goaltender thinking about things other than stopping the puck, but we'll see if maybe it also brings Lindbach's intensity and competitiveness up a notch. See how it plays out as the Penguins and Sabres are involved in a 4-on-4. Malkin pressuring, but Bogosian, who's very skilled at lugging that puck and shooting it. First-round draft pick of the Winnipeg Jets, actually the Atlanta Thrashers. There's Ennis now looking to the left wing, and Fleury came out to challenge against Larson, who gets decked from behind by Spalling, and Larson elected not to shoot the puck there, and that was a close call.
Nice play by Lovejoy to keep his stick out there on that one-on-one, force the player wide. There was no wraparound attempt. Good job by Lovejoy defensively.
And now Lovejoy competing against Larson again, able to get the puck away from him, and came up the wall to Hornquist, who moves it into the middle to Malkin, into the Buffalo zone. Malkin shoots it and flagged down with a glove of Lindbach.
He actually missed it. He actually missed it. He tried again, like the initial shot of the game, to glove that puck. It missed him and hit his crest and his chest. I mean, this guy obviously didn't play any baseball as a youngster. This isn't a hard shot, and he absolutely just whiffed on the glove save, Staggy, and then he had to corral it with the rest of his body.
This is his 16th start in the last 19 games for the Buffalo Sabres. Lindbach, a busy goalie, trying to earn himself a job here in Buffalo for next year. From what we understand, he's played pretty well. Here's Rasmus Ristolainen trying to get away from the forecheck of the Penguins. Good pressure by Sutter, but the Sabres are able to get to center. 55 seconds to go on the 4-on-4 as Marcus Foligno gets into the corner now. Dodges the check of Perron, and then the pass for Ristolainen goes past his stick back into the Buffalo zone.
Mike Johnson working his bench with his forward pairs here, minus Sidney Crosby here. Now you got Bennett and Kunitz together.
Giunta down the wing, sails one wide of the net. Foligno on the left wing wall. Back for Giunta. Couldn't take it. Went off his stick around to the near side for Ristolainen. Another young defenseman with a lot of promise. Ristolainen, only 20 years old.
You could tell he was a good one the first time we saw these two teams. There's a turnover to Giunta.
Giunta cutting in. The Penguins converge on him. Good defensive work there by Ian Cole. Giunta doesn't have the wheels he once had. And I think a few years ago he would have been able to dart right to the net there. But he just kind of was at the end of his shift and didn't have a lot left in the tank. And now an offside call against the Penguins.
Well, 7 seconds left on the Crosby penalty, and Lindbach as well. The Penguins and the Sabres still knotted at zeros. Now there's Coach Mike Johnson, Rick Tocchet on the left, and Sidney Crosby will escape the penalty box in 7 seconds. As he got into it with Lindbach, a little bit of bumping in front of the netminder as the big 6'6" goaltender of the Buffalo Sabres has stopped all shots that he's seen, 10 of them in this hockey game.
Crosby has points in 9 straight against Buffalo, and a total of 36 during that stretch. He has really had a lot of success against them, and hopes to make it 10 straight here in this one. Now here's Lovejoy, up the wing for Hornquist, forced back to the corner by Strachan. Lifted off the glass by Lovejoy, but it went up into the Penguins bench, and a face-off coming up to the right of Fleury. We gave you the good numbers on Fleury. Here's the good news. Again, he's 12-2, 1.72 against the Sabres. But in games after he started the night before, back-to-back, 0-6-1 with a 5.17 goals against average. But he has gotten off to an excellent start here. So those numbers don't mean anything when you're talking about do or die for Marc-Andre Fleury. He understands the gravity of this situation. I think he was a little late coming to the rink today, running a gauntlet of fans at the hotel, but he's here and ready to play tonight, obviously. The Sabres with 9 shots, the Penguins with 10, and the Sabres dump it in. Lovejoy back to get it, is pressured by Hodgson. 2-on-2 battle. Now Spalling able to get it. Spalling lugs it, gains the red line, dumps it to the Sabres zone. Como trying to get around all the interference to get in there on the forecheck. He and Spalling. And now Chad Ruhwedel with it, starting out of his own zone. He moves it out to center, off the stick of Hodgson. Spalling with it. Ahead now to Como. His shot and a save, and then the rebound juggled again by Lindbach, and the whistle blows. The Boston score tonight will be in the upper right-hand corner of the game. Boston and Tampa Bay. And, of course, if the Bruins lose that game, it does not matter if the Penguins beat the Sabres. But they start later, so you won't know the outcome of that game until after this one is over, just to make it that much more dramatic for you at the end of the season. Well, hopefully it won't matter, though, for the Pens.
Well, cut-ins, if we have any action in that game or any goal-scoring In this one here, we got zeros on the board. Lindback has bobbled a couple of shots. The Penguins have to indeed get in front of him. Deflection, screens, one goalpost off a screen. A Torney shot.
Winnick grabbing the puck there after, or Hornquist grabbing it after Winnick won the faceoff. Now Winnick behind the goal. And Johan Larsson there, a former Minnesota Wild player, moves it right to the front of the net. Hornquist almost got a stick on it again, and now it's Paul Martin taking it deep in his own zone. The turn quickly, a nice sharp turn to move it up the right wing, and Crosby, he's got it there. Crosby holds it, trying to get it back to the net. He had a man going that way and couldn't get it through.
Strachan made a good defensive play to prevent that pass going to Martin, who was jumping in.
Now Sidney Crosby racing to the puck again for Ian Cole. He turns it up the wall for Patrick Hornquist. And then Winnick jumping out to center ice. As Hornquist dumps it in, Winnick's going to go in and get it. Against Bogosian. He got in there first. Good work by Winnick, following on his Malkin now. They chip it by him. Marcus Foligno trying to get it out. Perron holds it into Malkin. Malkin with a shot and a save made by Lindback. And he looked like a baseball player on that one.
Well, he's certainly a juggler, I got to tell you. Nothing's clean with him. The Penguins are shooting up high, and he's using the blockers and the glove to knock pucks down. And this one he's got to chase down. And he's going to get to it first at 6'6".
Chris Kunitz will visit with Dan Potash in our neighborhood Ford store intermission with Robin J. Coming up. Malkin taking the draw against Gionta. One to Kunitz, a blaster over the shoulder again.
See, they're going up high on every shot here in this hockey game, Staggy. They didn't do that last night, and they're doing it against Lindback, who drops down and bobbles a lot of shots. The key is to get the first one up high around his shoulders, but then you got to pounce on the second one because he's so tall. There's the big face-off win. It looked like it was deflected on the way in, the Kunitz shot. And Lindback's just such a big netminder at 6'6", even on his knees. His shoulders go up to the crossbar.
He was coached by goalie coach Mitch Korn in Nashville when he was the backup to Pekka Rinne.
And Arturs Irbe here in Buffalo, my former netminder with the Sharks.
Now it's Lovejoy with it. And Irbe was just like a little ball of pads in the net. It's quite different from the guy he's coaching now.
But a competitor at that.
Oh, yes. From Latvia. And here's Kunitz moving it to the right side, and Lovejoy blasts it long to the net. Lindback just sets it down behind the goal. 2:09 to go in the first period. The Penguins still looking for that first goal of the game against Lindback. Sutter in over the line, trying to feed it along for Downey. Couldn't get it to the net. And Dalpe goes the other way now for Buffalo. Zach Dalpe moves it to the left side. Zadorov chips it to the goal. Fleury leaves it there for Taylor Chorney. Up the wall now for Bo Bennett. He was backing up, and Dalpe took it away and then centered it, and Sutter stole it and got it to Steve Downey into the Sabres zone. Downey shot it down low, and that was an awkward way to play the puck there by Lindback as he got the blocker down to the ice. It's not pretty, but Lindback's keeping the puck out of the net so far. Now Cole with it. Sends it back around behind for Taylor Chorney. Chorney sends it off the wall for Downey, who steered it, but right up into the bench on the far side.
Downey's getting involved with Kaleta. Those two, I'm sure they faced each other before. Kaleta doesn't mind getting under the skin of the opponent either.
Another look at the standings. No score yet between Boston and Tampa Bay down in Florida. Penguins would play the Rangers if they end up as the 8th seed. And Montreal, perhaps, or Tampa, I suppose, as the...
Exactly. Tampa still has a chance there with a Tampa win here and a Montreal loss tonight. If that scenario plays out. This game is... it just seems like a little bit of a chess match, but there has been blunders. You can see there's been turnovers by both clubs that have gone the other way, and you just...
Would you say that this
game
looks? Would you say it looks like a game between two teams that have played the night before?
I would say it looked like that. It looks like it against two teams that have won a lot of hockey games. Quite honestly, I mean, they're two teams that don't have that kind of confidence right now. You know, for the Buffalo Sabres, what do they have to lose in this hockey game? Absolutely nothing. They've already got that first or second pick in the NHL entry draft, depending on how it turns out for them. They're going to finish last.
Spalling working the end wall. Spalling on his backhand. Moves it up top for Paul Martin. He risks it off the boards to the corner, and Sidney Crosby there. Takes a big hit on the near side. Crosby protecting the puck as Bogosian checks him. He turns off that check. Comes to the net. Backhand traps. And it's steered away. And then the Penguin was tripped up there. It was Lovejoy. He's trapped as the Sabres come the other way. And the shot blocked by Paul Martin. As Giunta let it go. Now Grigorenko sends it down low for Marcus Foligno. 21 seconds to go in the period. Penguins had something going there around the net. They just couldn't get the puck cleanly to the goal as Crosby tried to do that. And now the Penguins start from their own zone with only 11 seconds to go in the period. Paul Martin comes to center and softly dumps it into the Sabres zone. Lindback pulled it away from David Perron. And Penguins looking to maybe get one more opportunity here, but time expires in the first period.
Well, Sidney Crosby loves confrontation in the corners. We saw confrontation in front of the net, but in the corner, Zach Bogosian tried to play Crosby hard. Crosby just rolled off that. When you do that, that's what you're playing into Crosby's arsenal, and he goes to the backhand. That is blocked in front by another defender, and Lovejoy trying to join the push.
Let's go to Robin Jay in Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks very much. Well, I think a lot of Penguins fans would be breathing a lot easier if the Penguins had a lead right now. They don't. Kind of an even period of play, it seemed, after the Penguins got off to a really fast start.
Well, if you watch that period right there, you're going to need a play like what Crosby just did there at the end of the first. Somebody like Malcolm Crosby to kind of take it over and just say they want it, they're going to dominate, and Sidney Crosby came off the wall. It might take that type of play to break this open a little bit. Lindback, you can tell the way he's playing. He's really into the game, wants to make sure he wants to be the guy that kind of spoils this whole party, if you will. It's going to take somebody like Crosby, Malkin. They're going to make some special play to make something happen and open this game up a little bit.
Easiest way for the Penguins to get in would be to simply win, but there are other ways they can get in. Other teams in action tonight. We will have highlights of those games. Dan Potash with the player interview, and Jay will tell us straight for you on the first intermission report brought to you by your neighborhood Ford store. It's coming up next here on Root Sports. The Pens and Sabres are scoreless as we get ready for the second period of play. The other game of interest tonight, the Bruins and the Lightning. We are standing by in our Root Sports studio. Should something happen in that game to give you an update. Let's head back to the First Niagara Center. Steige and Bob have the second period in Buffalo, guys.
Thank you very much, Rob. Well, Sidney Crosby has been a force for the Penguins during this stretch where they've had a tough time winning, Bob, and he's always a target of the other team defensively.
He really is, and he's getting his face full of Zach Bogosian, but he almost got caught between the blue lines there with his head down. He's got good speed in the hockey game. One of the few Penguins that's had great legs. There he is, bumping into Lindback, trying to stir things up for the Penguins, put him on a 4-on-4 situation. Strachan in the way of that feed in front. And the play coming out of the corner on Bogosian, perhaps the best chance for Crosby in that period, but it was blocked by the skate of Strachan right there.
Tonight's face-offs are presented by the new face of Northwood Realty Services, as always.
Ben Lovejoy played .954 for the Penguins in that first period. 4 shots on net of the 14 the Penguins had. The face-offs were dominated by the Penguins. They won 17, only lost 5.
And from the opening draw, the Sabres try to get it deep. Lovejoy couldn't get it out. It comes behind the net to Paul Martin. Puck to the corner now, and the Penguins working on the cycle here. Daniel Winnick went down. Bogosian checking him. And Molson got it ahead. Carried to center now by Larson to the right wing and Ennis. Ennis just flicked it towards the left wing and Molson. And the Penguins prevented that from getting through. Good work by Hornquist on the back check. Now Lovejoy battling against Molson in the corner, and Crosby gets in there and takes the puck and moves it up the wall, where it's taken by Patrick Hornquist. And he'll softly dump it into the Buffalo zone. Don't forget that Buffalo or that Boston Tampa score will be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, as you'll keep track of that throughout the night, and when there's any changes in scoring, we'll go back to the studio for updates. Now Grigorenko over skates, but the puck is held in by the Sabres. And Foligno's long shot is gloved down by Marc-Andre Fleury, and he holds on.
Well, Marc-Andre Fleury was stretching in the gym around 1 o'clock today as I sauntered by and saw him, and then I just kept on walking. Had a big smile on his face, was working on the flexibility, getting ready for this, and his goaltending coach was in there as well. Mike Bales.
Ristolainen goes back now for Buffalo. Under pressure on the play. He was trying to force the turnover, and good work by Perron to do just that. Now Grigorenko sends it up the right wing and is chipped out of there by Gionta. And skating back to it now is Penguin defenseman Ian Cole. Sends it around to the near side. Perron trying to get it out. It's held in right in front. Foligno, and unfortunately, Fleury gobbled it up after Zadorov had sent it to the net. Marcus Foligno right in front of him, and Fleury was quick to get out to get that loose.
A lot
puck.
of bad things going on here. Everybody's leaving the zone. Cole's already almost out of the zone for the Penguins. There's no defense in front of the net as Foligno's able to redirect this puck in. And fortunate for the Penguins and Fleury that there's no rebound. The Penguins were going north. The puck was still not exited your own zone. That's hockey 101 right there, and it almost came back to haunt the Penguins. What a save by Fleury.
Bennett moves it ahead to Downey and now to Sutter, and he can't take the pass at center. And Baroni just sends it over to the near wall where Zadorov has it. Throws it rink wide for Delorier. Couldn't take the pass, and the Penguins quickly counter. It's Bo Bennett. And over the line, drops it off to Sutter, a shot, and Lindbach makes the save and no rebound.
Well, Marc-Andre Fleury's got to do his thing. If Lindbach's doing his thing, and he's got 9 shutouts on the season. He had a shutout sequence from February 1st to 11th of over 165 minutes, and that's what he's done in the last 14 against the Buffalo Sabres.
Including a 5-game winning streak against them. 6 would be lovely.
They've outscored the Sabres 23-3 in those 5 games.
Penguins beat them 6-1 and 5-0 earlier this year.
The goal scoring is dried up though for the Penguins right now, and 1 would be big right now.
I'll say, here's Scuderi with it now. Speaking of 1, he got 1 last night. There's Crosby racing now alongside of Hornquist. Nice move to the outside of Bogosian. Bogosian stays with him, takes him to the end wall. Look at the puck control by Sidney Crosby in deep. Banks it off the cage to himself, working feverishly again out for Hornquist. Now loose for Winnick to Hornquist. Shoots it, and a save made by Lindbach. Down on this butterfly. Hornquist just couldn't elevate the puck. Here's Scuderi with it out of the goal, and it hit a man in front. Penguins looking for the puck again. Hornquist with a backhander, and again partially blocked by Tyson Strachan. Strachan's been good defensively in this game. He's the one we were showing you the defense against Crosby, just getting in the way of everything he was trying to do. There's a chance now for Como down the wing, a blast wide of the goal. Comes around now for Spalling. Spalling, Como, and LaPierre on the ice, but the Sabres come to center. And Tyler Ennis flicks it in behind the Penguin defense. Lovejoy there. He's able to control the puck up to the right wing to Blake Como. Drops it off to Paul Martin. Martin into the Buffalo zone with a shot off the stick of Nazaros and up into the netting behind the Buffalo goal.
Now Sidney Crosby, absolutely a workhorse down low. Bogosian all over him. Stayed with him here on the one-on-one. Crosby using that good leg strength, cutting it back, using the back of the net against Bogosian, who can't stay with him. And then the puck comes out to Hornquist just as he goes to shoot it. Kind of gets tripped up a little bit. A good feed from Winnick to Hornquist, who just lost his footing. And Lindbach standing tall, or even when he's not standing tall, he's still tall.
And now off the faceoff, taken by Paul Martin. Backhand shot by Malkin goes right through the goal mouth. Over on his backhand is Lovejoy to work it to the corner. Pass Perron behind the net to Malkin. Kunitz goes to the front of the net. Malkin shoots it, and a save by Lindbach.
Well, they do say the puck has eyes. I don't believe it from what I've seen in the last 10 games for the Penguins. You know, they don't. And that's what they're looking for right here. I love Kunitz. Look how he goes in there, picks a couple of players, Foligno and Mazzaros, and he prevents them from getting out. And we've seen a couple of chances like that. Perron in the first period coming out from behind the cage. We saw Malkin doing it there. Maybe that's a good place to start your offense from, right behind Lindbach.
From the faceoff, Ristolainen sends it down up the wall, and it's held in nicely by Chorney. Forced back behind the net for Mazzaros. Kunitz forcing him to turn the puck over. Centering pass, but the Sabres smartly able to get that out of their own zone despite the pressure by the Penguins as Zach Dalpe brought it back to center. Now he's in on the forecheck against Scuderi. Under some siege here. Baroni there as well, and Malkin comes in with that help Bob called for. And Malkin's got it right now. Moves it up the left wing for Kunitz. Pushing the puck. Takes a hit from Delorier. And now it's gathered in by Rob Scuderi. He shoots it out to center for David Perron. Attacking in the middle is Perron and shooting it, and it goes off the stick of Mazzaros and up into the netting. A lot of blocked shots.
And the wells run dry for Perron. You just got to keep attacking if you're Pittsburgh. They've had a couple of good shifts here now in succession. You're trying to build that momentum and get that first one. And hopefully that'll free things up a little bit for Pittsburgh. You get Buffalo. If you can get them out of their defensive posture right now, they're just playing, kitty by the door and trying to insulate their netminder, trying to keep it a 0-0 game stag. If you get them to open up a little bit, get that first one behind Lindbach.
Downey works the corner now in the Buffalo zone. Centers for Sutter. Goes past him and right to Cole. Cole to Downey. Centers again. It comes right through. Sutter couldn't get a stick on that, and the Sabres able to work it back to center ice. And now it's Sutter again moving it ahead to Bo Bennett. Bennett hit hard on the near wall by Zadorov, but he's able to backhand it to the corner to Downey. Pressured from behind by Cody Hodgson. Downey brings it up top, trying to get back towards the net. Hodgson took it away from him. Now the Penguins have to get on the back check. As the Sabres are tired, though, they'll dump it in and change. Crosby stops up, has a man going to the net. Hornquist, he could not take the pass. Now Winnick tried to get to it. It's brought back by the Sabres. Out to center now, it's Molson. And Molson to the right side to Ennis. Strachan went to the front of the net as Ennis brings it all the way around the horn. Drops it down low for Johan Larsson, dancing against Ian Cole. But he gave it away to Crosby, who moves it along now for Hornquist. Patrick Hornquist gains the red line and dumps it in.
Well, Crosby went down to the runway, Staggy, as he was hit by Zadorov there. He went down the Penguins dressing room.
He seems vulnerable at times when he's on that wall. And he got hit hard. Now Scuderi moves it ahead to Lapierre. Lapierre one-hands the puck to the corner, and Spaulding racing in there for the puck against Strachan. Following on is Como. Blake Como stops up. And Como wants to bring it to the net. Now turns the cage, shoots the puck. Save made by Lindbach on the short side, and again he flops on top of the puck. So good work there by Blake Como. Get himself free for a shot.
Yeah, they're working behind the goal line. You see this is working. This has been a staple in their game in the second period. And Lindbach's able to get up there and square up. That east to west play might work. Bennett tried to stop as he just got to the blue line here, and as he turns, there's the hard hit by Zadorov. Right after that, Crosby came onto the ice. He fired a cross ice pass to the backhand of Hornquist. He just couldn't see it through traffic. He was alone in on Lindbach. Just couldn't track down that hard Crosby feed.
From the faceoff, won again by the Penguins. It is Scuderi working it to the corner. Giunta trying to get possession. Now gathered in by Grigorenko, who lifts it to the line, and an aggressive play there at the blue line by Evgeny Malkin in good defensive position to keep it into the offensive zone. Maybe F3, if you will. The high forwards.
Yeah, he was up there because Scuderi had gone in to the goal line.
Scuderi over again. Grigorenko didn't get it out. Scuderi able to just dish it off now. Perron with a shot, and the glove save again by Lindbach, and those glove saves he makes look kind of awkward, but
they're getting less awkward though, aren't they? And he's starting to get a little feel in the game. That's not a good sign for Pittsburgh. Keep going.
The Penguins and the Sabres looking for that first goal here as we move our way through the second period, and only a handful of numbers have been retired by the Sabres. And on January 13th, number 39 of Dominik Hasek would join that group. Hasek spent 9 seasons here, and while he would later win 2 cups in Detroit, some feel that his best seasons were played right here in Western New York. In fact, both goaltenders of the Sabres and Penguins playing like the dominator so far tonight, guys.
You know, we got 31 shots here, still no score, and no score in the Boston Tampa game. It just went to the first intermission there as well, 0-0.
Puck held in by Lovejoy, gloved it down and then hammering it back in behind the goal, and Hornquist in there on the forecheck, centers it, but no Penguins in front. They were all going to the back of the net. And the Sabres come to center, and Grigorenko, first-round pick taken in Pittsburgh in 2012 at the draft, dumps it behind the goal, and Lovejoy sends it up the wall. Strachan shoots it, deflected right in front. Foligno can't gobble up the rebound as it went right by him. Now to the point, and Bogosian, who sends it in behind the goal for Giunta. He's hit by Ian Cole, or Daniel Winnick rather, and Winnick behind the net trying to get it away from Giunta. Up the boards it comes, and turned back into the middle nicely by Sidney Crosby, and then Paul Martin over. So just lifted inside the line.
Offside, I believe.
Yep.
And bouncing puck in the Penguins zone. You're talking about puck luck. Penguins don't really want any bouncing pucks around Marc-Andre Fleury right there, as it just escaped both Foligno and Lovejoy of the Penguins. Yeah, that same year Grigorenko went 12th overall. Pouliot went 8th overall. There's still a chance Pouliot will come back in the first round if the Penguins make it that far.
You notice Marc-Andre Fleury is wearing the white pads and the white gloves tonight with the Pittsburgh gold uniforms. The Sabres wearing their road whites tonight at home in the final game of the season. Now the puck taken by Nikita Zadorov. He moves it out on right wing beyond the reach of Zach Delpy. And then off the puck is Veroni. So Fleury sent it around to the near side for Delorier. Delorier tried to get it behind the net. It stays here on the near wall, and the Penguins able to get it out. This is Nick Spaulding coming to center. Spaulding drops it off to Brandon Sutter. Sutter to the net. Lindback to save. Sutter got it back and moves it out to the point. Puck is held in by Cole. Now taken on the near boards by Spaulding. Spaulding trying to drag it puck to the net. Cole on the high cycle cuts towards the goal, shoots it, and it went right over the shoulder of Lindback and over the net.
That was a good effort right there in that high cycle.
Sutter back to the net again, trying to get it through, but Sabres won't let that happen. And out to center comes Delorier, gains the red line, dumps it past Cole to the corner. Back to get it is Scuderi. Kunitz out on right wing now for David Perron. Stolen though. Good read by Mazzaros. Cutting in. Mazzaros shoots it. And Fleury came out to challenge and made the save on Mazzaro. Now a Penguin is down. Looks like it's David Perron.
Yeah, David Perron went in there. Mazzaros, I believe. After the shot, it looked like he got into a collision with Perron, or maybe Perron was trying to get back very quickly on Mazzaros. I didn't exactly see right out of the corner of my eye. David Perron down for a good period of time here. Let's take a look. There's Mazzaros. Perron coming in from the back side, and he trips over Marc-Andre Fleury and goes head first into the boards. Wow. You see, he tried to get back on Mazzaros there, and he trips over the stick of Marc-Andre Fleury. And they say to keep your head up if you go into the boards like that, Staggy, if you can. But
he's had a history of concussions, Bob, David Perron, as you know. It's one of the, it's the reason why he wears that tinted visor.
Exactly.
And that's the problem, is that the guys who have concussions and afterwards it affects their vision, and the lights tend to affect you. And
he's moving his jaw right now like he's not feeling too good in that area. He says, I'm okay. You knocked a goal into him, I hope.
Look out here. Mazzaro shoots it wide of the goal, and it comes off the end boards. Cody Hodgson after it. Paul Martin gets in there. Moves it ahead now to Blake Como, and the Penguins come to head. Center ice, 3 men strong. It's Kunitz down the wing. Kunitz shoots it, and a glove save made by Lindback. That was a good glove save because he knew there was pressure coming. On the debut of our first weekly edition of Inside Pirates Baseball, see why the Pirates may be equipped with the best offense in all of baseball. Here, Josh Harrison, mic'd up during workouts and much more. Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network, debuts tonight at 10:30 on Root Sports.
That was a great breakout pass by Martin in his own deep corner to find the centerman. The Penguins came 3 men strong there. A good solid rush there, but quelled by the glove hand of Lindback.
Johan Larsson leaning in for the draw, lost the face-off to Malkin, but then the Sabres jump in there and take it right back.
Well, we saw that last night, did we not? And the face-off where the Penguins won and gave up a goal.
Grigorenko to the net, shot it right through the goal mouth, over to the point, to the near side of Mazzaros. Wrists it back in deep for Matt Molson. And the Sabres have something going here right now. To the left side of Mazzaros, in deep on the play, works it behind the net, centering pass for Molson, and he fanned out as it came out in front. And the Sabres keep it back into the Penguin zone, and Larsson sent it behind the net for Molson. Now Ennis for Molson. Malkin trying to get it away, but it comes up the wall, and Kunitz, he's trying to just get it out, and he does bank it off the boards. Perron's on the ice. He turns and goes to the bench as Ristolainen goes back for the puck.
Yeah, they waved that off. The linesman did on the icing call. Ristolainen took his time going back for that puck that gave the Penguins that long change here in the second period.
Penguins turn it over again from their own zone, but it comes right back to Lovejoy, who bangs it off the glass, and it goes skipping up and into the seats on the near side.
Well, guys play a little soccer, don't they, before the games? All teams do it. And take a look at Chorney. As that puck goes up, he goes, poof! Little header there, Staggy. And as he takes his man, Tyler Ennis, boom. And the Penguins' Perron is back on the ice after he got tripped by Fleury into that back wall.
Face-off win for LaPierre against Grigorenko, and now Spaulding moves it out to center, but didn't get enough on it to get it to Como, and the Sabres go D to D. And the Sabres trying to play a structured game, and LaPierre took it away. Cuts in now, shoots, and a save again by Lindback.
Tried to go 5-hole LaPierre. I mean, he's been getting umpteen chances last couple of games, and he just can't find the twine. Is there another header there by LaPierre?
And now Ruhwedel driving into the Penguin zone, but he lost the puck, and Paul Martin flicks it back to center. Grigorenko dumps it right back in where it's taken by Paul Martin. Martin will carry the puck to center ice. Back for the puck goes Zadorov. He's the one who turned it over to LaPierre. Now he's having a tough time behind the net against Daniel Winnick. And Winnick comes out with Crosby trying to get it to him, and it's right past Sid, and Ruhwedel comes to center for Buffalo to Marcus Foligno with Baroni headed to the net. The drop pass now. Dow beats in it through the goal mouth, and a stick save made by Fleury, and now Crosby trying to take off with the puck, but good back pressure. Still, the Penguins are able to keep it going north.
Well, still no power plays for either club in this hockey game. The final game of the season.
9:14 to go in the second period. No score. Puck back into the corner, and Steve Downing. 9 shots for the Penguins, 3 for the Sabres here in the second period. And Lindback continues to shut the door, just as so many other goalies have done here over the last several weeks. On the right wing now, it's Steve Downing. He comes to center and dumps it into the far corner. Spalling in after it, sends it back around for Sutter behind the net. Sutter fell down on top of the puck. It comes free now. Sutter is trapped behind the play as the Sabres come to center ice. Delorier over to get it, but number 44 of the Penguins, Chorney, got there as well. And the puck ends up in the Buffalo bench.
Well, Zadorov blew a tire. LaPierre had a chance to get his first as a Penguin in 35 games, stopped by the pads of Lindback.
Well, the Penguins certainly getting a lot more pressure here in the second period. What are you doing to get more chances around the net as you move through the second period?
Well, we always talk you want net front presence, but I think our second guy's got to get the red zone, and that means the slot area with a heavy stick. We're going to start getting the pucks to those areas. I think we're doing a nice job getting pucks behind the net and throwing them in front, but we got to somehow find the slot guy or a point for those kind of shots.
All right, Rick, thank you. Guys?
All right.
Well, you pointed that out, Bob, that the Penguins were using the back of the net. Just step 2.
Step 2, get that heavy stick out there in the slot. Find a way to get that one-timer by the netminder. Penguins 9 shots to 3 for the Sabres in the second.
Perron trying to move in front, throws it to the net, and it goes right through the goal mouth again. It looked like it may have gone off the right pad of Lindback. And this is Tyler Ennis coming to center ice, dumping into the Penguin zone. Fleury can't stop it. It comes around near side. Good work there by Kunitz on the wall. And now Malkin trying to drag it ahead, but Mazzaros took it away, and he dumps it right back into the Penguin zone.
Malkin had Mazzaros standing still. If he could have just chipped the puck by him there. Gino just looking for any kind of break here.
Here he is stopping up, throwing it across, pass behind Cole. And now stepping up is Perron. He kind of delayed a moment. I don't think he was sure if he should go there. And he knew he had to get off too. So he goes to the bench, and the Sabres on the attack. Ennis drops it off near side.
Part of the problem there as well is the Penguins had a late change, and I think Perron was afraid they might have had 6 men on the ice.
Strachan shot it wide, and then Fleury got over to the post there as Ennis turned a turning shot towards the net. Held in by Tyson Strachan again, and the man in the slot. It was Foligno. He didn't elect to shoot it. He gloved it instead, and that was fortunate because he was in good position. Now Bogosian with a blocker, with a shot that stopped by the blocker of Fleury, and now Tyson Strachan moves up. Johan Larsson around for Gianta, couldn't keep it in.
Penguins are exhausted right now, trying to get this puck down the ice and get a change.
This is Gianta turning at center ice. The puck wanders away from him, so he drops it back on defense. And then Tyson Strachan comes ahead. I've been impressed with his play in this game. And now the Sabres are offside as they go into the Penguin zone.
Penguins Crosby could have been called for a slash between the lines there. And our day automotive. Great day for hockey is Evgeny Malkin, who clinched the NHL scoring title with 113 points this day in 2009. The Penguins went on to win a Stanley Cup. And he just seems to be not quite up to speed right now after he missed 8 games with an undisclosed injury.
By the way, Tyson Strachan, Bob, originally drafted by Jimmy Rutherford's Carolina Hurricanes back in 2003 and signed as an unrestricted free agent by the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, the Penguins haven't had to look at Mike Weber, the Pittsburgh native here in this hockey game, who's not dressed. He won their Unsung Hero Award this year to the 6'2", 212-pounder from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, second rounder in 2006. And Yeah, boy, he's a tough guy in that blue line.
Another face-off win for Crosby. And the Penguins come to center ice. Spaulding bumped off the puck. Now Sid following on. It comes through now to Chorney. And Taylor Chorney sends it back into the corner. Crosby working there in the corner. Now it's Como. Sid is being double shifted here on the fourth line. And the side of the net, Como trying to keep it alive. Now Ruhwedel in there working. Crosby as well, ducking out of a check. It's Como, Spaulding, and Crosby for the Penguins. And Sid's lost his lid. And Grigorenko comes to center ice and dumps it into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Paul Martin. Takes a circular path to the puck there so that he could control it and get it out. And he did a good job. And now the Penguins just dump it into the Buffalo zone. And after it is Como still on the ice here. Off the bench comes Bo Bennett. Como brings it up high. And Como controls the puck and sends it back down deep. Taken there by Sutter on the backhand. The shot. He scores! Brandon Sutter breaks the ice. And the red light goes on, and that's a pretty sight.
And it was, again, working from behind the net. The Penguins got the puck deep after a great breakout, a reverse that exited the puck from the zone. And Como came out. He won a battle to the corner. He carried the puck out. And Sutter continued on, was able to beat the netminder Lindback on the backhand. I love what Bennett did there. Bennett created room in front with a little bit of a screen. Great job by Bennett on Mazzaros. Mazzaros unable to come out and engage with Sutter. And Sutter carried the puck after Como had carried the puck and showed patience. That was really good stuff all the way around. And the red light, it really went on, did it?
Yes, it did. It did. I mean, I saw it myself, Bob.
Okay.
And Brandon Sutter with his 20th goal of the season.
And now the game will open up a little bit. Buffalo will have to engage a little more, try to create a little more offensively. This is where the Penguins have to be precious with the puck, good at their own blue lines, and then capitalize. Right here.
Oh, Bennett almost had one there as he swiped at it right at the side of the goal. And the Sabres come to center ice, and Lovejoy steps up to Bo Bennett. Bennett carries over and softly dumps it into the corner. And Bob, what does that do for the Penguin team psychologically? We know it's a goal on the board they didn't have a minute ago, but what else does it do for them?
Well, it's belief. It's belief. And that's all you need right now. They've gained momentum in the second period. We talked about that. Potash, I talked about that with Rick Tocchet. And look at this. Now they're going to get to the...
Perron shoots one.
Somebody's
just
hurt. One of the Penguins is down, Staggy.
Yep,
Malkin.
Yeah, it's Malkin. He gets himself up, though. He appears to be all right. Here's Kunitz shooting. Malkin trying to get to the puck. Malkin reaching in. And the Sabres get it to center, and the Penguins go right back into the offensive zone. Kunitz dropped it off to Perron. Perron trying to come to the net. He shoots it, and a good save on the short side again by Lindback. That's good. A couple of good opportunities for Perron on the short side, trying to sneak one in.
And all of a sudden, you talk about somebody who looks like he's got something now. Perron, he's got the magic back, it seems.
Now here's Hornquist working hard. And the world seems to have been lifted off the collective shoulders of the Penguins. There's a shot by Chorney, and that one went through traffic and wide of the goal.
Careful, though. Keep the third man high. You don't want to get out of your system here. This is the thing. You all of a sudden you get one. Doesn't mean you're going to get four. And if you don't get the second one, you can't give up one.
Here's Hornquist coming to center and steering it into the Buffalo zone. And offside is called.
Whoa,
boy, Brandon Sutter scores big goals, doesn't he, Bob?
Well, he scores a lot of big ones. He had 5 in the playoffs last year. The Penguins are looking to get there. Look at the interference by Bennett and the backhander by Sutter. At 8 in his first 12 as a Penguin. He's gone 11 without a goal, and he's looking hot right now. Looking to make it 2-0. Look at this fancy move. Just feeling it with the good soft hands, and that's what's been lacking for the Penguins. They haven't had those soft hand stagger where they've been able to cradle the puck at will. And let's just see if they can maintain this kind of pace, the energy they've got from this first goal, and at the same time not give up any chances going the other way. It's a tall task for Pittsburgh, and they've managed the game well so far. They got one behind Lindback.
And once again, they're using Crosby in the fourth line between Como and Spaulding. And here's Lovejoy with a slap pass. As he shot it intentionally wide, Crosby pounces on the puck behind the net. Sidney Crosby's been a demon in this game. Out to the point, and Martin a drive, and it goes wide of the goal, and Lindback didn't see that one coming. And that's exactly what Rick Tocchet said the Penguins needed to do right there, what Crosby did, as he passed it from behind the net to the point. Now Sid behind the goal again. Spaulding goes to the front of the net. Crosby trying to power his way around Bogosian from his side. He centered it, but The Sabres trying to spring a man here. Ennis was sneaking up ice trying to get behind Lovejoy, and it turns out to be an icing call. No, we're going to get too many men on the ice, I think, here.
I think it's an icing. And they're just pointing at the bench. They want to get the players back out there on the change.
Okay,
and it was
Bob?
a good call because it went into the left of Fleury and it went around the boards. Ennis was ahead of the play. It looked like Ennis was going to touch the puck, but because it went all the way around the boards, take a look. Here's the play by Molson. It goes by Ennis. Now Ennis is ahead of Lovejoy, but Lovejoy can get to the other corner first. And that's where the puck was. That was a great call by the linesman there.
Linesman Brad Govachik and Scott Cherry. Here's Bennett off the draw. Centering. Oh! Again, Tyson Strachan with good defense there in front of the net.
Yes, he took his man. He didn't look at the passer. He took the guy on the west side of the ice. It was an east to west pass. Great play by Strachan.
Going back for the puck into his own zone is Ian Cole. 2:45 to go in the second period. 13 shots for the Penguins in this period, 5 for the Sabres, and the Penguins have a goal. Brandon Sutter breaking the ice.
And the thing is, Bennett has got hop, as does in this hockey game right now Perron. He's got hop, and those are two guys that were injured here in this second period. One hit by a check, the other one head first into the boards. Those two players have got the most jump right now in this second period of play.
And what's interesting, Bob, as you said in the first period, it looked like the Penguins were playing more, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll come up with it.
Systematic or
systematically
or just patient?
Conservatively. They were conserving their energy, and now it seems with that goal, their energy has really come up. There's a shot right off the faceoff by Kunitz in the save made by.
It really has come up. You're exactly right, Staggy. The key is to just maintain your F3 forward.
Malkin shot through traffic. Kunitz on the doorstep, and Lindbach able to make the save on Gino.
You can sense a wounded animal, and the Penguins sense that in the Buffalo Sabres right now. If they can get the second one, I think it's a big step, obviously, towards the playoffs. I wouldn't say it would be over. The game is never over, but the Buffalo Sabres, for what reason would they have to keep fighting back other than to knock the Penguins out? This second goal, I mean, this next goal, if there's a next goal in the game, it really has to go Pittsburgh's way.
Ted Nolan, who once played on a line with Mario Lemieux for a cup of coffee back in the 80s. Now the puck is sent back out to center where it's taken by Paul Martin across to Taylor Chorney. He'll bank it off the glass into the Buffalo zone.
What that goal does also is the Boston Bruins, they'll be scoreboard watching, and when they look up and they see the Penguins have the one on the board, Staggy, you can't imagine what that does to a team. That takes a little stuffing out of them as well.
Here go the Sabres now on the attack, trying to get it back. And it goes to the corner. Matt Ellis tried to center for Foligno. And a lot of work now behind the net. Chorney is there. Matt Ellis is a grinder for the Buffalo Sabres. Works it to the corner now for Giunta. He played at Boston College. Led the country in scoring his senior year. Out to the point now. The shot by Zadorov is flagged down in front. The Penguins don't get it out. An attempt by Foligno was blocked. Fortunately, he got a bounce. Now the Penguins, Malkin forces it back just inside the Buffalo line. Malkin on the ice. The Penguins in the middle of a change here. Gino goes off. 1:15 remaining in the period. Here comes Foligno. Puck up for grabs on the wall. Zach Dalby with good hop. Shoots it off the side of the net. He gets it back. Another former Carolina Hurricane. Here's Strachan with it now. Shoots it to the net. Fleury the save. Scuderi tried to clear the rebound. He did get it up the wall to Hornquist. And he feeds it up the right wing boards where it's taken by Winnick. Crosby cutting to the net. Winnick sends it in front and it goes right off the pad of Lindbach. Crosby went to the goal, but he never saw the puck.
Well, Winnick did the same thing last night. He had the exact same play and the exact same result. If the pass isn't there and you're not a gifted playmaker, take the shot. You're a left-hand shooter coming down the right side. You're in the most glorious opportunity to score. I know it's Sidney Crosby, but if it was anybody other than Crosby, would you make that pass? And if the answer is no, you wouldn't make it, then you shouldn't make it to Crosby, and you should get the puck to the net unless you can make the pass across.
Nobody knows what it's like to play with Sid. How that can enter your brain as a player when you're his line mate.
Well, I just knew, like, if Mario was going there and it was on his backhand or something, and the defenseman was there and he took Mario away, I would have to shoot it, and that comes with playing with a guy with that kind of talent and ilk and a confidence in your own abilities to get the job done and realize that you made the right play at the right time. And Winnick is making a lot of good plays. You just love to see him get that one to the net.
8 seconds remaining, and here comes Max Lapierre into the Buffalo zone. Lapierre turns and throws it towards the net, through the slot and back out off the corner boards to center, and the period comes to an end. 16 shots in that second period for the Penguins, 7 for the Sabres. The Penguins have outshot Buffalo 30-17 through 40 minutes of play, and Brandon Sutter has the only goal. Let's go to Robin Jay.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks very much. So the Penguins have not done a great job holding leads lately. This is one they would like to hold over this last 20 minutes of play, Jay, obviously, and get themselves into the playoffs under their own power.
Yeah, when you control play and you're getting the opportunities, you can see just Buffalo's just they can only jump. They have to really manufacture their opportunities, and the only way they're getting them tonight is if there's a turnover or a break and they jump on it. So again, Pittsburgh play the same way. Go after it. You're starting to take the game over. Obviously, it's only 1-0. We said you play that way. You don't pinch when you don't have it. If it's 50-50, you back off. Have a high for it. All those things are going to be discussed, but play the same way. Keep on the offense, and you'll take care of it from there.
All right, so some good news taking place in Buffalo. Is there good news taking place in Tampa Bay? We'll show you highlights of the Bruins and Lightning. There has been a goal scored in that game. Jay's going to tell us straight and much, much more coming up on the Second Intermission Report, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. They're trying to punch their playoff ticket. Brandon Sutter, with his 20th of the year, has given them a 1-0 lead over Buffalo. In case you're just joining us, here's what you missed, presented by your Western PA Honda dealers.
Gino finds Chorney. His shot off the goalpost. Lapierre took it away. Cuts in now. Shoots and a save again by Lindbaum.
Tried to go 5-hole Lapierre.
Taken there by Sutter on the backhand. The shot. Score! Brandon Sutter breaks the ice. And that's the only goal of the hockey game. And the Penguins have generated quite a bit of offense, as they have been doing really for weeks in terms of shots on goal, opportunities, but only one goal, Bob.
Yeah, and the best place to create that offense from really is as far away from your net as you can. If you turn the puck over, it doesn't matter. And they're doing it from behind the goal line. There they are spinning it out. And then you see Malkin again from behind the cage, moving out on his forehand to get the shot on Lindback with traffic in front. Como. Crosby's been doing it all night, and then finally Sutter gets a little bit of room. I love the bit of interference by Bennett, who's shown energy in this hockey game, and this line of Evgeny Malkin, Kunitz, and Perron, and they've got 13 shots so far in the hockey game. Nothing to show for it yet, but they're getting closer, and quite honestly, the Penguins don't need another goal. Yes, would we like another one? Of course we would, but you got to keep the puck low and the F3 forward high.
Sutter's 20th from Como and Spalling. The 14:23 of the second period, the only goal of the game. And the Penguins hoping to forge forward here in the third period, take care of business. And the Sabres playing in their final game of the season for sure, in front of their home fans on Fan Appreciation Night, hoping to find a way to win after trailing going to the third period. They've done that 3 times this year, and also with a couple of overtime losses. Now here are the Penguins on the attack right away, and a shot by Hornquist, who was the former teammate of Anders Lindback at Nashville. Moving up on the play now is Lovejoy, and the puck out of play. We will have the score of the Boston-Tampa Bay game in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and we'll cut in whenever there's a goal scored. Last time we checked, it was 1-1.
Well, you see Matt Moulson, a former Penguin draft pick right there, Staggy. And for Matt Moulson, it's been a little bit of a struggle this season, although he's starting to put something together, is Matt Moulson right now. He has not gone consecutive games without a point since February 15th and 17th, so getting a little confidence in his game.
And we get an icing call against the Buffalo Sabres. On the season finale of Inside Penguins Hockey, find out how much grief the guys endure from friends and family when it comes to fantasy hockey. Head to Cranberry to tour the Penguins' new practice facility and much more. Inside Penguins Hockey tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
Penguins still winning 70% of the faceoffs. They've actually had some good scoring chances. Another big win there by Malkin.
Scuderi distributes it behind the net to Kunitz. Perron tried to go to the net. Perron's got the puck now. Into the corner for Malkin, and he can't drag it around the man, and the Sabres bounce up ice. Malkin on the back pressure, trying to take it away from Mazzaros, who dumped it to the corner. Back to get it goes Ian Cole, and he saw Foligno coming and made a tough play there to poke the puck to the corner. so the Penguins could bring it out. And Kunitz carries now into the Buffalo zone. Try to move it right wing to Perron. Kunitz hustles in there to get a stick on the puck, as does Malkin. But it's the Sabres going the other way, and the Penguins with another trip up ice here. The Sabres change. As Foligno dumps it in, Lovejoy back to the puck. Perron and Malkin need to get off here. It's an extended shift for those two. Perron got it up the wall, but didn't get it out. And you just got to get pucks out there. And at the end of your shift especially. Now Baroni falls down, but got the puck to Zadorov. He couldn't handle it, and out to center comes Bo Bennett. The Penguins get that change as Bennett forces it up into the corner of the Buffalo zone. Delorier back to get it. Sent it around past Sutter to center. It hit Paul Martin. Now Steve Downey in the neutral zone. Martin steps up, works it into the middle. This is Brandon Sutter again to the right side. Downey just flicks it to the corner. Bo Bennett goes in after it on his backhand. Feeds it back down behind the net for Sutter. Brandon Sutter in a race for the puck with Philip Barone. Barone there, and he's able to lift the puck ahead to Zach Dalpe. And Dalpe is one Sabre who's got some pretty good speed as he dumps the puck into the right wing corner.
Why not? Yeah, look at him use it, Steg. He dumps it in behind Martin and goes after it.
There's Strachan again, backhanding it behind the net for Delorier. Scuderi eyes him. And the puck bouncing puck, and the Penguins keep it going forward, and the puck comes up and hits the face of Brandon Sutter. And finally the whistle blows.
They gave the Sabres a second to try to make a play. As Sutter got his stick on a puck, I think he deflected that into his own face. The goal scorer for the Penguins is going to need some treatment here right now as he goes into the Penguins dressing room. The Penguins playing with 13 forwards in this hockey game. Craig Adams still has not seen the ice after 2 periods of play. And we'll take one look at this as Coletta's got the puck. There's off the stick and right under the visor and into the face of Brandon Sutter, who about a week or two back got hit, you can recall, with 2 high sticks in consecutive shifts right in the face.
Tough guy to lose right now.
Yeah, because he's out there against the top line. Tyler Ennis unit for most of the night. He's done a tremendous job. You can't afford to lose anybody right now.
Puck is banked off the glass to center. Mazzaros can't handle the puck cleanly. LaPierre takes off down the wing. Slap shot kicked out by Lindbach. Rebound. Como couldn't get to it. Cody Hodgson comes back to center ice. Feeds it up the wall, but Chorney prevented it from getting through to Coletta, and now LaPierre turns and heads into the Buffalo zone. LaPierre cutting into the backhand, and he backhanded it wide on the blocker side of Lindbach. Behind the net, Como. But now it's Mazzaros taking it for the Sabres. And out to center it goes. Coletta beaten to the puck there by Ian Cole. Cole to Spalling into the Buffalo zone. Nick Spalling with a shot. Lindbach is able to make the save in the glove and hold on.
Yeah, from his stick to his glove there as Spalling was trying to get a rebound off the pads of Lindbach with 2 Penguins pushing the net. So the Penguins turn it the other way with Sutter in the dressing room. There's the save by Lindbach with Como and LaPierre at the end of their shift going right to that net.
Sidney Crosby on the ice now with Patrick Hornquist and Daniel Winnick. Lovejoy and Martin defensively for the Penguins. Johan Larsson in there to take the face off against Crosby. Larsson won it. Ennis has it to the left wing, and now they'll go back to go forward, and here comes Zach Bogosian with it. Rink wide to the left wing. It's Molson driving it into the right wing corner. Big bounce off the wall. Martin trying to get it ahead to Winnick. He reached for it but couldn't play the puck. Larsson sends it back to the point. Ennis up high, and the wrist shot wide of the goal from Tyson Strachan. Out of the corner, it's Molson with it, and Paul Martin trying to get it away from Matt Molson, who moved it ahead, but right to the stick of Hornquist. Nice play to pull it around Strachan, and then drills Hornquist right in front of the Buffalo bench, and he's shaken up. He goes to the bench without his stick.
But you see, Hornquist is playing for lines. He's playing at the blue line. He's trying to get it out. Then he's playing to get to the red line and dump it in and take the hit to make a play. That's how you win hockey games. You got warriors like that take hits to make play. And you got to be careful there. Perron tried to get in between Lindbach and the net. And you got to let that goaltender get back into his cage. The referee doesn't make a call on Perron. You don't want to give the referees any opportunity to make a call.
Bouncing puck. Penguins can't get it out. Ian Cole cuts in behind the net. Sends it up the wall. Perron got over. Unfortunately, that time he was able to clear it, but it's going to be an icing, I think. It is. Perron just having a tough time either getting it out or getting it out softly and not taking it.
It's defensive hockey right now, and it's playing with a 1-0 lead, and you got to be good at it, and that's why this guy's on the ice right now, making the play at the blue line. Then he's getting himself to the line and dumping it in and taking that hit to make the play, and he'll let the stick go.
And Malkin in there for the faceoff to the right of Fleury. Fleury has faced 18 shots in this hockey game. The Penguins have registered 32 against the Buffalo Sabres goaltender Anders Lindback. Scuderi into the middle for Malkin. Malkin steps around Foligno. Moves it to the right wing to Downey. Cutting in. Downey shoots and he missed the goal. And a big bounce off the corner boards. Puck is collected by Chorney into the right side, and Lovejoy who drills it in. Now it's Ristolainen back to the puck. In behind the net now, Downey in front for Lapierre. He couldn't get it through, went off the stick. And Delorier of the Sabres tried to move it ahead, but it goes into the Sabres bench on the far side. Let's look at our Subway sandwich of the game, Bob.
Well, let's look at it and give it to Taylor Chorney in this hockey game. The biggest game of the year for the Penguins. Off his head, Ennis looks for the puck. He should have been looking for Chorney, who knocked him into the wall. Taylor Chorney, can you believe it? You're playing in the American Hockey League. You're leading the American Hockey League in plus minus. You get the call up at the biggest time of the season.
Lovejoy to Bennett. The wrist shot blocked. Downey hustles over to get on the puck. Downey to Bennett. Lapierre in front of the net. Bennett swings up, turns back.
Turn back. You got to turn back. You cannot go up to the blue line and turn the puck over that way.
Here's a shot by Downey and the save made by Lindback. And now it's Ruedel. Chad Ruedel is just recalled from the Buffalo Farm Club. Moves it up the right wing. Zach Dalpe there. And in over the line come the Sabres. It's Veroni with it. Still 1-1 in that Boston-Tampa game in the second intermission. Here's Veroni with it down the near side. Como got it free to get it to center ice. 14:33 remaining in regulation time. The Penguins leading 1-0. They're going to go by Brandon Sutter, who took a puck to the face a little earlier and had to leave the game. Keep an eye out to see when he gets back to the bench. And here goes Sidney Crosby soaring into the Buffalo zone. Crosby drops it to Spaulding, a shot. Stick save made by Lindback. He wasn't quite sure where that rebound went. Now Como with back pressure on Coletta forced him to turn the puck over, and the Penguins go right back into the Sabres zone. Como pushed it ahead to Sidney Crosby. Centers now for Spaulding. It goes past him and out to the blue line where Cole has it. And he wrists it back in around the right wing corner, and Como, who took a hit from Ellis so that it come back to Scuderi, and he distributes it behind the goal. Spaulding, a good play to get in there and get a piece of it. To Como and back to Spaulding. Good work by the Penguins. Puck control in the offensive zone. Crosby spinning out of the check of Strachan, moves it in front. And the bouncing puck over to the near wall where Como will get there. Now it pops up in the air. And the Penguins on the ice a long time here to control the puck. The Sabres also getting tired, you would think. The Penguins are able to make a change here. Crosby and Como go to the bench as the Sabres dump the puck in the Penguins zone. Fleury kept it moving up the right wing wall. The Sabres changing now as Hornquist has a lane to center ice. And Hornquist dumps the puck into the Sabres zone.
Look at this.
Lindback will glove that one and hang on to it.
Hornquist with Winnick and Bo Bennett right now, and the injury to Sutter has shaken up the lines for the Penguins. Hopefully not their confidence. 13-16.
One goal in the game, and it belongs to Brandon Sutter as we look at our Eastern Conference standings, Bob.
Yeah, Penguins win. They're in. Detroit's up 1-0 in their game right now. They can supplant Ottawa there and over in the Atlantic, and Ottawa can come back to the wild card position if it happens that way. But boy, that Tampa game is 2-2. Boston and Tampa tied after 2 periods of play.
David Perron controls the puck, brings it up high, banks it back down to the corner. Kunis trying to play it there.
1-1.
Johan Larsson set it up the wall.
1-1, excuse me, the Tampa-Boston game. Still a tie in that second intermission.
Here's Molson leaving it for Rasmus Ristolainen. He dumps it in and goes in after it himself against Lovejoy. Big boy Ristolainen, but Malkin followed on, trying to get it up the wall and out if he can. Instead goes across to Paul Martin. And Martin moves it ahead now to Malkin, trying to catch up with the puck. Malkin pushed it around Ristolainen. Lindback steps out to clear it to the wall. Forcing it down into the corner is David Perron. And Perron has been stronger on the puck here since he collided with the end boards. And Perron now to Malkin. Malkin dancing. Shoots it. Save made. And the rebound squirts in behind the net. Johan Larsson hit again by David Perron.
That looked like it was redirected by Kunitz in front of Lindback. And Malkin is trying to elevate his game right now. It doesn't seem to be a ton there, but he's giving it all here as we get down to 12 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. And the Penguins find a puck in their bench. Well, you can see Malkin and the Penguins working the puck deep behind Lindback, and Malkin He's just emptying the tank right now, and he's stopped up on the half wall. Watch Kunitz in front of the net. He's going to get a stick on that puck. Lindbach made a good save on the redirection there. Boy, I don't know how Kunitz was able to find that puck, but almost a big redirection by Lindbach.
Hornquist shot it into the bench by accident. The faceoff comes back into the Penguin zone. And boy, an opportunity for the Sabres as a result of that was Strachan off the draw, getting the good shot away.
Well, I guess every shot's a chance for the Sabres to tie it up, and I believe that was their first shot, maybe their second of the period as they look up at the shot clock. Second shot of the period for the Sabres.
And Crosby against Foligno on the draw. Strachan trying to keep it alive. Hornquist battling to get it out to center, and he does.
That's the battle right there. He was behind the player, didn't look like he was going to get it done, but he kept whacking away.
Now around for Zach Bogosian. And Bogosian turns away from Sidney Crosby.
Crosby got to keep his shift short. He goes to the bench. He was being double shifted, and Sutter's back on the ice.
Hustling over to the puck on the near side is Sutter. Brandon Sutter on the ice for the Penguins, so they got their full complement of forwards, and there's a chance right in front. Winnick to Sutter, he scores! Brandon Sutter scores another one, and the Penguins lead it 2-0. He came out of the locker room, and he scores a goal with stitches in his face.
What a fantastic play. What a patient play. No hurry there. Winnick setting the table for Sutter after the turnover on the wall. Take a look. The Penguins shut off the wall right here by Hornquist. Hornquist gets the puck across to Winnick. Winnick has got great patience to corral the puck from backhand to forehand. After he put it down with his glove hand, he's able to freeze the goaltender, Lindbach, and they do get that east-west play. Lindbach, who had to square up on Winnick. And Sutter, yes, you did come back in time. And Mr. Stewart, good work with Sutter while you were in the dressing room.
Collision in the neutral zone between Paul Martin and Zach Dalpe, who went down hard. It was more or less inadvertent contact, and the puck comes back now into the Buffalo zone on an icing call.
Well, once again, we got some contact here in the neutral zone as the Penguins defense are standing up. Martin reading that play, but you can remember prior to that goal, Hornquist with the whacking and hacking, all the battling at his own blue line by the Penguins bench staggy about 20 seconds before that goal was scored. To get the puck out, Crosby made the change. Sutter came out of the dressing room, and the Penguins have made it 2-0.
And the Sabres, with 2 shots in the period, shoot one off a stick into the netting.
Brandon Sutter has never had a hat trick in his career, and the Penguins scoring their 36th shot. Sutter with a pair here for Pittsburgh in their 82nd game of the season, with the season up for grabs.
He now has 6 goals in his last 11 games, Brandon Sutter. Face off to the right, one again, this time by LaPierre, and cleared by Scuderi up the wall, and now Como racing in after it. He gets a step on Ruhwedel, so Lindbach comes out to play the puck. Lindbach, who didn't know what to do with it there, he turned it over to LaPierre. And LaPierre trying to control the puck down low.
No penalties here. You don't want to put a free hand on anybody, as Como had the hand there for a second and then got rid of it.
And of course, the other side of the equation is you get the puck deep now, right, Bob, and there's really no reason to take any real chances. You've got 2 goals now. There's Coletta with it, shooting it. And the idea is to kill the clock at this point as Fleury freezes the puck at the side of the goal.
It's a simple plays now. It's the old kiss, as we used to write on the board. Keep it simple, stupid, is what we called it in the dressing room, and that's get it out at the blue line, get it deep at the far blue line, keep it behind the net. Yeah, you don't need another goal to win this game. I know Brandon Sutter put up a pair against the Oilers March 12th. That's his last 2-goal game. We'll see what happens as we go down, but the clock is your ally right now, and you just keep it moving.
And here comes Daniel Winnick making that nice patient play in front of the goal to Sutter. And now Hornquist driving towards the Sabres zone. Tyson Strachan spinning out of the forecheck of Hornquist. He's able to get it out to center. Taken there by Martin, ahead for Hornquist, trying to control it for Crosby. And a slot, a shot, and a save made by Lindbach on Sidney Crosby.
Crosby hasn't picked up a point in this game. I know Ben has in his hockey game. Still tied atop with John Tavares. And shot here by Sidney Crosby high in the slot. You know, it's the furthest thing from his mind really is Art Ross. He's trying to get his team in the Stanley Cup playoffs and a chance to win that Stanley Cup. And Sidney Crosby, he'll just play defense first here, thank you. Brandon Sutter, 21 goals, ties a career high with a pair here tonight.
David Perron off the draw, works to the puck in the corner. He's had a strong game David Perron. Ian Malkin working hard in the corner in the offensive zone. Just keep that puck moving along the wall, but now Foligno able to step out with it for Buffalo into the middle for Gionta, and he flicks it up into the Penguin zone. Fleury stays put. He doesn't come out of the net to play it. Kunis hit hard by Foligno, but he got the puck up the wall to Perron and threw it back into the middle. It comes to the right point. Ristolainen shot it and deflected just wide of the goal. Sabres trying to make it happen in the offensive zone now as Mazzaros moves up, and his pass for Gionta doesn't connect. Then Malkin goes the other way for the Penguins, left wing to Kunitz. Kunitz back to Malkin, to Kunitz, cutting in, shoots it short side, and a save made, and then Malkin went barreling in there, trying to get hold of the rebound. He just got a stick on it with one hand on the stick. And the puck back to center ice, and
back into the players' bench.
Back into the bench, and came back onto the ice, and the whistle blows.
Keep pucks up the glass. Don't put anything in the middle. Don't take any chances. Now there's a look at Brandon Sutter. 3 power play goals, 4 shorthanded goals on the season to go along with 14 even strength goals. There's the opener on the backhand, elevating it, then taking a puck in the face here in the second period. He just came back from the dressing room. His first shift back. Took that feed from Winnick, put it in behind Lindbach, who had no chance. And the Penguins are up by 2 with 9:30 left. They've doubled up the Sabres in shots, 38-19.
The patient play by Winnick enabled Gionta to get closer to Sutter to maybe prevent him from shooting that puck, but he just did not get there in time. And Sutter buried it to make it 2-0. And Gionta was upset with himself. Now the Penguins just work it back to neutral ice. Baroni threw it into the middle for Mazzaros, the defenseman of the Sabres, moves up and shoots it, and a glove save made by Marc-Andre Fleury. That's the 3rd shot of the 3rd period for the Buffalo Sabres.
Now he's going to stop everything, keep the pace of this game, slow it down, give his defense 5 defensemen again for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight in this hockey game. With the injury to Pouliot and no relief, going with 13 forwards. Craig Adams has not seen the ice in this hockey game. There hasn't been a penalty in this hockey game.
Referee Ian Walsh.
Well, there has been a penalty. It was a 4-on-4 situation, but no power plays, excuse me.
Ian Walsh was having a conversation with the Penguins bench. And taking a hit to make a play there was Winnick, and Hornquist comes ahead and drops it off to Crosby. Sidney Crosby shoots it, and it's blocked. And then Sid got knocked down. And hustling to get back in the play is Hornquist as Tyler Ennis comes to center. Good stick work there by Martin, forcing it offside against the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, you can get that stepping up. That's closing the gap by Martin and Lovejoy because you got 2 back checkers in Winnick and Hornquist. Crosby turns the puck over as he's getting checked by Ennis, and then you got all of a sudden Hornquist and Winnick coming back. That allows the defense to squeeze up and cover that blue line. Oh, great look at it there, guys, as the Buffalo Sabres, Ennis turns it offside. Really good stuff. That was Martin at his best. Stick, the old stick.
Grigorenko against Max Lapierre. The 4th line back together with Lapierre and Spalling and Como. Spalling takes the lead pass and feeds it into the corner. Mazzaros back, takes a hit. Spalling trying to move it to Como. Barreling into Mazzaros. Now Grigorenko tried to move it out, but it comes right to the Penguins and is driven in by Ian Cole behind the goal. And Lindbach is there. Up the wall it comes for Gionta. Out at center, good back work, checking again by Spalling to get the puck and turn it back into the Buffalo zone. Now Lapierre in on the forecheck. David Perron comes on the ice. And Spalling's still out here. Perron trying to make it happen, but the Sabres take off. Spalling's tired. He needs to get off. But he still is able to get back and make a play on Grigorenko at the blue line.
Yeah, and that was enough to force the offside. Grigorenko scored in consecutive games for the first time in his career, looking to score in 3 straight for the Buffalo Sabres. But the back check of Spalling is getting it done. And boy, you give it all you can right now. You look up at the clock for your player. You see 8 minutes, and the coach says, "Okay, guys, you got 2-3 shifts each. 2-3 shifts each. That's all I need from you."
Here's Paul Martin coming to center ice, and a pass to the left wing to Kunitz, who makes sure he gets it. Well, I thought he did. He tried to get it deep, and it's hung up on the wall by Ruhwedel, who finds Cody Hodgson coming back the other way. Good stick check there by Chorney on Hodgson. And the puck behind the net, taken there by Ellis, behind the goal for Coletta. Hodgson's in front of the goal. Back to Hodgson in the slot. He couldn't shoot it. He was checked closely by Chorney. Now Ruhwedel with a shot, and that's knocked down by Paul Martin. And he swipes it over to the far wall with Chorney. He's able to bang it off the boards and back to center. Chorney played all year with Brian Dumoulin and Wilkes-Barre. They were on the ice for only 5 even strength goals all season. Dumoulin and Chorney. And And
Wow,
wonder if maybe
that's
Dumoulin
impressive.
if the Penguins get to the playoffs, and we hope they will, 7:14 to go in the game. You wonder if Chorney and maybe Dumoulin might still be together when the playoffs begin, because Penguins are still going to be looking for help on the blue line.
Only 5 even strength goals against.
That's what he said.
That's incredible
That's what
stuff.
he told me.
Really, that's that's worldly. That's all American Hockey League right there. And there is a look at Taylor Chorney. Of course, his dad playing one of 6 father-son combinations for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Mark Chorney, who played in 83-84 on the blue line.
And no offense to his dad, but I think his son might be the better player of the two, and I liked his dad. A good player, from a college player at that time. He came from the University of North Dakota to play for the Penguins. Now the puck is fed into the Penguin zone, and back to get it goes Ben Lovejoy. Hard up the wall, but didn't get it out. Centering pass. Look at that play by Martin. Just knocking it right out of midair to play the puck and move it ahead. And it's Daniel Winnick moving it to the right side of Crosby, cutting in. Backhand shot wide of the goal. 6:42 to go. Now here's Winnick with it. Up top, Lovejoy sends it back in behind the goal for Hornquist. And the Penguins just controlling the puck right now. Back into the corner, just cycling, trying to kill clock. Here's Crosby again with it. Sidney Crosby eating the puck in there along the corner boards. Crosby checked by Johan Larsson, just playing keep away right now. Sends it back in down low. Phenomenal puck control here by the Penguins. Time ticking away. Spalling, the Penguins able to change. Crosby went off. LaPierre comes on.
What a great time to change. Puck in the offensive zone. That's really the only time you should change.
Scuderi finally shoots the puck. And the puck is lifted back to center ice. 2-on-2 now for the Sabres. They're onside there. And look out. Tyler Ennis with it. Ennis looks back. Larsson to the net, and he couldn't get it through to him. Larsson has it below the goal line now. And then lifts it out towards the blue line. Now it's Mazaros with a shot, and a stick save made by Fleury, and it skips up into the netting behind the Penguins goal.
He put it there on purpose. Great angle with the stick by Fleury. Sends the team running around a little bit in their own zone with 5:52 in the third. You know, it's 2-0 here in Buffalo. Tampa and Boston have just started their third period, and there's Jamie Benn with a pair of goals tonight. John Tavares picked up another one. He's at 85, one ahead of Sidney Crosby, and John Tavares has more goals right now than Jamie Benn, and if they end up tied, it goes to the man with the most goals, Sidney Crosby. Well, that's the last time we'll look at that, because we know Crosby doesn't care. He just cares about the outcome of this one right here and getting his team into that Stanley Cup playoffs.
And racing in for the puck is Steve Downey. Sends it back around to the far corner where Brandon Sutter gets over. Try to work it back down low. Spalling there. He'll chip it into the corner. And that's where the Penguins want to live right now, is down there along the end boards and in the corners with the puck, much as they can with time ticking away. 5:20 to go. Steve Downey banks it ahead to Brandon Sutter. Sutter swings it down deep and around to the other corner where it's taken by Delorier. He'll lift it out to center. And Downey slaps it right back into the Penguins zone.
You can see the simple plays being made by the Penguins right now. They're trying to get pressure as soon as the puck's moved up the wall, and always a man high.
Into the Buffalo zone, I should say. Now to the right wing, it's Grigorenko closing in. He fans on the shot.
They got a poke check against Aggie, and that was the stick of Scuderi on Grigorenko.
And now it's David Perron with it, and he tries to get it deep and does down into the Buffalo zone, and Lindbach is there.
Good job again by the veteran Scuderi.
Sabres come to center. Gianta into the Penguin zone. It's the left side. Foligno sent it around to the wall where Kunitz got it to the blue line but didn't get it out. And now Foligno stripped of the puck by Malkin, who takes off. Getting back on the play is Bogosian. Malkin stops up as the Penguins are changing.
And he got hammered.
And Malkin got hit hard by Foligno, but he took that hit to make the play back to the Penguin defense, just to play that four corners offense the Penguins want to play right now, just to control the puck.
And keep the clock moving.
Now racing in after it is Winnick. He and Hornquist on the ice along with Sidney Crosby. Penguins top line. And Winnick back to the point. Fed in to the opposite corner by Ben Lovejoy. Back to get it goes Ristolainen. Ooh, he threw a shoulder into Winnick there. He felt Winnick coming, and he really popped him good. A little reverse hit on him.
Yeah, right into the chin.
And now the puck is dumped into the Buffalo zone. 3:33 to go in the game. A quiet crowd, but a big crowd here tonight. The Sabres continue to draw fans after having the worst record in the NHL. And this is a great hockey market. And if they get Connor McDavid, it'll explode again. Just like Pittsburgh did when they got Sidney Crosby. 3:13 to go. Nazaro sends it up the wall. Johan Larsson tried to play it deep, but Cole got over to get it out. Good. Puck dump back into the corner. Cole dodging a check there nicely to play the puck up the wall for Spalling. And he steers it back up into the Buffalo zone. But this is going to be an icing call against Pittsburgh.
We're under 3 minutes now, 2:51. But defense, you talk about players sucking it up and back-to-backs with the minutes. Look at Scuderi with the stick. Grigorenko tried to pull that puck in and shoot it through the legs of Scuderi, who put the stick out there. We saw Sutter do it. He took a puck in the face, sacrificing defensively with stick on puck in the second period. We have a timeout right now. The Penguins, I believe, using timeout Buffalo right now, and there's the increased ice time. The differential on the bottom of this difference, you can see, plus 734 for Cole and plus 634 for Lovejoy. And Chorney averaging 11:36 coming into this game, and he's had big minutes as well. And they play terrific.
Boy, it's been tough. The Penguins have really had to dig down deep to get to where they are at this point with a 2-0 lead.
Well, Sutter came into the game with 19 goals, and when he came here, he made an attempt to elevate the puck there and win it. He was so patient after Hornquist turned the puck over there. Hornquist made a great play prior to that goal. Sutter had just come back from the dressing room after taking that puck in the face to score that goal. The one-timer, the east to west play by Winnick, and the Penguins find themselves up by 2.
Buffalo calling the timeout, hoping to get on the board here. They got the goaltender pulled. Anders Lindback, one of 5 goalies used this year by the Buffalo Sabres, is now on the bench. And the face-off to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury. The extra attacker is on, and a face-off win. Brandon Sutter, your #1 star, won the draw. Cole moves it to the far wall. Now Sutter over there to get the puck, trying to get it out. He falls down. Cole trying to clear it, can't get it out. An extra Sabre on the ice here in a battle for possession of the puck. Finally it comes to the point. Ristolainen with it. Sends it across. Bogosian goes far side. Ennis is down by the net. Ristolainen's got it. Now for Ennis. Ennis across. Bogosian. Slap shot down low. A shot pass for Gionta. Larson's in the slot. Gionta's pass off a Penguin stick. He can hit the stick of Spalling and came back out the center.
The Penguins changed one man as the Lightning just went up 2-1 in their hockey game.
Back down into the corner it goes, and Scuderi there. Now it's going to be cleared by the Penguins. They can't get it out though. 2 minutes to go in the game, and a shot. Oh, that one deflected wide of the goal. Fleury was looking for it. It came through. Now Cole sends it up the wall, and Hornquist trying to get a hold of it. Empty net down to our left. The Penguins trying to get out of their own zone here. Sabres have done a good job of keeping it in the zone, and a shot stopped. Gionta fumbles a rebound and then took a shot. It was blocked by Cole. And then Cole and Gionta tangling as the puck comes to
Keep him in there. Keep him in there. There you go. Good job. Do that, Jocelyn. Keep the Sabre Gionta in the offensive zone as the puck went in the neutral zone. That's a brilliant play by Cole. You get engaged. Gionta's offside. There's nothing the Sabres can do at that particular time. And Gionta just keeps whacking away at Cole with the stick. And Cole was exhausted. He was out there for an extended shift after the Sabres timeout. And now maybe the Penguins able to talk a little bit of trash talk. They haven't been able to do that in a long time. But still, nothing sealed here right now with 1:39 left on that clock. And a tenuous situation there. A good block by Cole on Gionta. And there he gets engaged. And Gionta and Cole go to their respective players' benches. No penalties called here. So still a 6-on-5 situation. But now with the face-off outside the blue line.
Crosby smashes it off the draw towards the empty net, and it goes wide.
And they don't call icing off the face-off situation there, even though it was from over the red line.
And now it's Hodgson lugging the puck for the Sabres into the Penguin zone. It's got hung up over there on the far side, and then it'll be another face-off in the neutral zone.
Well, Crosby, you know, he's always thinking. He's always a step ahead of most players, and there's a gap between the defense, and he tried to shoot it right for the empty net. He just didn't get the Buffalo roll.
Minute 27 remaining.
Tough on the backhand. Who knows? He didn't try it that time.
Gionta shoots it long, and Fleury will stop play.
And this is one time Fleury will not put the puck down and try to go for the empty net, as he has done for years with a 2-goal cushion. Fleury freezes the puck this time. Not going to put it down. Not going to try to go for the empty net in this situation. Very wise. Would be exciting, though. Now, a timeout here. Pittsburgh are going to use their timeout here. They have it. And if they're not certain, they didn't use a timeout in Ottawa on a face-off goal that came back to haunt them on a Hoffman tying goal late in a hockey game. Marc-Andre Fleury's been solid in the hockey game. It's a back-to-back situation. They go with their number one guy, the Flower. And from start, he's been solid. He's looked calm and controlled in the hockey game, which has been a key for him, as I thought he did last night. Very composed, but of course, you can only imagine what's going on in his mind. And right now, Staggy, what a situation for this hockey club.
Boy, it's been a tough go, and there's no doubt about that. And I think just kind of breaking through to get to the playoffs will give the Penguins another lift of emotional confidence that could help them in that first round of the playoffs. But they still have another minute 23 to work with here.
Lovejoy
face off to the left of Fleury.
And Lovejoy's on the board side. If they win the draw back, he can go around on his forehand, but they lose the draw.
And a pass across now to Ennis, a blast, and Fleury made the save. Molson with a rebound, a shot. Fleury stops that, and it's loose behind the net. They battle for the puck, just pinballing around, and squirts free to the near side. A minute 10 to go. Martin whacks the puck back to center ice, and Ennis goes back to get it.
That won't make it over the goal line. What a scramble in front of Marc-Andre Fleury, as all Penguin fans are holding their breath.
Fortunately, it's a 2-goal lead for the Penguins. 56 seconds to go. Nazaros drives it hard around to the Penguin zone. Up the wall it comes. Bogosian trying to keep it in. Sutter there. And Crosby flicks it back but didn't get it out. Ennis back to the net. Rebound Gionta. And it jumped right by him. And now Bogosian again trying to hold it in. Sutter there battling, trying to get it out. 32 seconds to go in the game. Daniel Winnick goes over to get it with an empty net down to our left. Winnick shoots for the empty net and he misses the goal.
Could have carried the puck all the way in the zone there. As the Penguins bench yell time, the Penguins got the puck in their own zone.
And the Sabres again will get one more rush perhaps here as Molson dishes it off to the left side. 12 seconds to go in the game. Here's Bogosian with it down the wing, shoots it, Fleury gloves it and stops play with 5+ seconds remaining in the regular season for the Buffalo Sabres and also for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but more hockey to be played for Pittsburgh.
What a face-off play by the Sabres. The fake. Ennis with the high shot. Martin forced the high shot. A couple of second opportunities. Marc-Andre Fleury is able to shut the door after the Sabres win that face-off to the left of the Flower. And then we'll see if they put any time back on that clock here. 5.4 left in this game.
From the draw, the puck up for grabs. The Penguins trying to get it out. Nazaros with it. 1 second, and it's all over. The Penguins have broken through to clinch a playoff berth for the 9th consecutive year. Handshakes all around. The team is our McDonald's Players of the Game. And Marc-Andre Fleury getting his 10th shutout of the season. What a way to finish it for Flower after the year he's had. Great to see him enjoy that kind of success in the final game as he helped the Penguins get to the playoffs again this year.
Well, I think it's fantastic, the job that everybody did here tonight. They battened down the hatches. They insulated their netminder. The Sabres didn't have much going in this hockey game. When they did, the Flower came through. 10 shutouts on the season. That's spectacular. And Sidney Crosby had another fantastic day, but Brandon Sutter was the hero. He had both goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins after having to go to the dressing room and being on the mend. He came back out and scored the second, Staggy. What a game for the Penguins.
And never again shall we take a playoff berth for granted. Let's go to Robin J.
Staggy and Bob, thanks very much. 9 consecutive playoff appearances. No, it wasn't easy with a 5-game losing streak in the month of April. Marc-Andre Fleury, the 10 shutouts, the most since Jonathan Quick had 10 back in the 2011-2012 season. He was a team MVP, as voted on yesterday by the team. keeps them in it, and then they get the 2 big goals from Brandon Sutter. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, and now you're prepared for the New York Rangers. That's what it's about. You're in, take a deep breath, and now you get prepared and you get ready to work. Obviously, it's going to be tough with the news about Letang and all that, but the bottom line is you never know about those type of situations. That's certainly the huge thing going forward. But the team that's here, you get great goaltending. You got superstar talent up front. You just get on in some kind of groove, and you make it difficult for whoever you're playing. So that's what it's about. I still believe that the Rangers and teams like that wouldn't want to see Pittsburgh in the first round. And here now they're going to get an opportunity. So big win.
Yep, we're going to show you the playoff setups, playoff matchups as soon as they're set. They should be set here relatively soon. That's coming up on the post-game show. We also have, of course, highlights from this game, post-game reaction. The Penguins can finally exhale. They are going to the playoffs. Plenty of analysis from Jay. Lots of injury updates to get you caught up on in the Penguins as well. All that and more coming up next on Penguins Postgame.